In this video, we're going to go through on Nanhua Primary School Preliminary Examination 2024 Primary 6 Mathematics Paper 2. So let's get started on the first question. Question 1, Part A. Use all the digits 2, 3, 5, 7 to form the greatest multiple of 5. So over here, in this, we need to have the last number to be 5, right? To be multiple of 5 because multiple of 5 because example you have 10 or say have 5, 10, 15, right? Okay, so now from here, so since we have the 1 2 3 4 4 numbers, right? Oops, 2 and 3 and then 4 over here, which is 5. So what will be the largest number? So it should be in this 7 and then 3 and then 2. So the answer to this question is 7, 3, 2, 5. There you go. That's your answer. All right, let's move on to part B. Use all the digits 2, 3, 5, 7 to form the smallest odd number between 3,000 and 4,000. So odd number means last number should be odd number, right? Like this. Okay. So we want the smallest odd number. So in this case over here, we can get, I think the answer to this is 2357. 2357, right? So yeah, that is the smallest, but okay, but smallest odd number between 3,000 to 4,000. So it should be 3257. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So the answer is 3257. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. So, Wen Xin scored an average of 82 marks in 3 mathematics tests. She takes a fourth test. How many marks must she get for this test to have an average mark of 85 in the fourth test? So, what we can do is we can get total for 4 tests with average of 85 marks, which is equal to 4 times 85, and this will give us 340, right? So 85 times 4, 340, right? Okay, so then current or total for 3 tests with average of 82 marks, in this case over here, right? Then we can just have 3 times 82. Okay, and this will give us 3 times 82 to 146. Okay, so marks marks for fourth test is equal to 340 minus 246, right? Let's see what we will get. 340 minus 246 is again 94. So she needs to get 94 in order for us to have an average score of 85 marks. Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 3. Okay, a shop sells 3 types of files. The table shows the number of files sold on Monday. So we have 8 for clear, clip is K, and ring is 4 plus 6K. Part A. Find the total number of files sold by the shop on Monday. Express your answer in terms of K in the simplest form. Alright, so we can just add the total, right? The total is basically clear plus clip plus ring, which is equal to 8 plus K plus 4 plus 6K, right? Which is essentially 8 plus 4, right? 8 plus 4 is 12 and 6K plus K is 7K. So for part A, the answer is 12 plus 7K. Alright, let's move to the next part, part B. If K is 11, find the total number of files sold by the shop on Monday, right? So total is equal to 12 plus 7 and then times 11. So it's 12 plus 77, which is equal to 89. Okay, there you go. The answer is 89. All right, so let's double check, right, with our calculator. 12 plus 7 multiplied by 11, 89. Okay, very good. Let's move to the next question. Question 4. So Elaine took a taxi from home to the shopping mall. Her taxi fare was based on the charges shown below. So the first kilometer is $4.60. Every additional 400 meters or less is at 26 cents. And every 45 seconds of waiting or less is 26 cents. The taxi traveled a total distance of 4.7 kilometers and stopped once at a traffic light for 1 minute. So, how much did Elaine pay for her taxi fare? So, we know that the first 1 kilometers is equal to dollars 4.60. So, remaining distance is equal to 4.7 minus 1 equal to 3.7 kilometers. So every number of additional 400 meter or less blocks is equal to 3.7 kilometers. And then we need to know what's 400 meters, right? So 400 meters is equal to, in this case, 4 divided by 1000 is 0.4 kilometers. Right, let's double check that. 400 divided by 1000. Okay, so 400 divided by 1000, and this will become 0.4. Okay, so we divide this by 0.4, and this will then become 3.7 divided by 0.4, 9.25. So 9.25, right, which we need to round up. Okay, in this case will be 10, right? So in this case we need to, I'll just say here, since there is remainder, we round up. Okay, so it becomes 10. So that means remaining cost will be 10 times 0.26, which equal to $2.60. Okay, then we also have a number of 45 seconds of yeah, okay, number of 45 seconds of waiting or less blocks is equal to, in this case, she waited for 1 minute. So let's also put 1 minute is equal to 1 times 60 seconds. So we have 60 divided by 45, and this will give us, right, divided by 45, this will give us 1.33 dot. Okay, and then we have to round up again, since there's a remainder, we round up. Okay, and this will give us 2. So then the cost is also 26 cents. So remaining cost for waiting is equal to 2 times 0.26, right? 26 equal to 0.52, okay, dollars. Okay, so let's have the total. So total is equal to 4.6 plus 2.6 plus 0.52. Okay, and this is equal to, let's use our calculator, 4.6 plus 2.6 plus 0.52. This will give us $7.72. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. All right, let's move to the next question. Question number 5. So George bought buns of 3 different flavors. The bar graph shows the number of each type of bun that he bought. The number of buns he bought is not shown on the scale. So your peanut butter, coconut, and kaya. So the price of each coconut bun is $1.80. George paid $50.40 for the coconut buns. How many kaya buns did he buy? Okay, so we want to know how much coconut buns he buy, so that we can use this scale to know what's the kaya bun. So number of coconut bun is equal to 50.4 divided by 1.8. Let's see. So 50.4 divided by 1.8, 28 coconut buns. Okay, so we know that coconut is 28. So let me draw this because it has been erased. Okay, so I've drawn the lines here, right? Okay, so we look at the coconut. We need to see what's the gap. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 gaps, right? So I'm gonna write down 7 gaps is equal to 28. So one gap is equal to 28 divided by 7, and this will give us 4. Okay, so now we need to know how many gaps Kaya have. So we have 7 here, 8 and 9. So 9 gaps, right? Or Kaya, okay, is equal to 9 times 4, and this will give us 36. Okay, there you go. So he bought 36 Kaya buns. Yum yum. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. All right, it's gonna get a little bit tougher. So Alice and Diana had some money each. The amount of money that Alice had was one quarter the amount of money Diana had. They wanted to buy the same dress each, but Alice was short of $28.40 and Diana was short of $15.40. So how much was the dress? Okay, so um Alice Alice had one quarter amount of money of Diana, means Alice had one unit, and then Diana had in this case is 4 units, right? So this is what it means. Okay, so they wanted to buy the same dress, but Alice was short of $28 and Diana was short of $15. Okay, so we can do the units part, but we can also visualize it. So if I were to draw Alice and Diana, okay, all right, and then in this case over here they wanted to buy, so they wanted to buy a dress. Okay, right, so okay, in this case over here let's draw out the units. So you have 1 unit, okay, for Alice, and then Diana has 4 units, right? 1, 2, okay, and then 3 and 4, like this. Okay, so both of them wanted to buy the dress. Okay, so let's say the dress is this much. I remove the dress part, yeah. So the dress is this much. Okay, so and then for Alice, she was short of $28. Okay, so I'm gonna draw the arrow of $28.40. So this is the dress. Oops. So $28.40, and then also for Diana, she was short of $15.50. Okay, so I think you probably can guess this right over here. Okay, so with that said, that means we are getting 3 units over here, 1, 2, 3, and then we can see how much the dress is, right? So 3 units is equal to 28.40 minus 15.50. Okay, and this is equal to, right? So let's do that. Calculator, 28 point, let me just put here, 40 minus 15.50. This is $12.90. So I'm just gonna put down here. Okay, 12.90. Okay. Okay, so then 1 unit is equal to 12.90 divided by 3. And this is dollars 4.30. Okay, so let's double check using our calculator. Right, so divide by 3. This is 430. Okay, so the dress, I think we can calculate the dress, which is equal to 12 dot, sorry, 4.30, and then we can plus this part, right? 28.4, which is at least, right? So plus 28.40. Okay, and let's use that calculator. Plus 28.40, and this will give you $32.70. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, $32.70. Right, don't forget your dollar sign. Alrighty. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. Okay, so Mr. Lim bought 24 tubs of identical ice cream for $360. After a price increase in each tub of ice cream, he could only buy 20 tubs with the same amount of money. What was the percentage increase in the price of each tub of ice cream? Okay, first we want to know how much is one identical ice cream, one tub of ice cream. So one tub of ice cream is equal to 360 divided by 24. Okay, so 360, where's my calculator? Did I remove it? Calculator. Okay, so 360, right? 360 divided by 24, this will give us $15. Dollars 15. Okay, so the thing is, after a price increase of each tub of ice cream, he could only buy 20 tubs. So that means the price. So I would say top tubs, 4 tubs, right? 4 tubs of ice cream is equal to 15 times 4. Okay, equal to $60. Okay, so I would say why we do 4 is because number of tubs we can't buy after price increase is basically 24 minus 20, which is 4. Okay, so we want to know that what happened to the 4 types of ice cream in terms of price increase. Okay, so that means price increase per tub is, yeah, okay, is equal to dollars 60 divided by 20, and this is equal to dollars 3 in this case. So price increase per tub is $3 more. So why we do these calculations? Because, right, if I were to do, right, the new price is equal to 20, right? Sorry, 15 plus 3 is equal to dollars 18, correct? And then since we know the total price 360, if we have total price is equal to dollars 18 times 20, this will give us dollars 360. So this all makes sense, right? Total price is equal to $18 new price times 20 tubs, 360. Why we know this? Because the increase did not allow us to add 4 more tubs, which is $60. So we spread the price increase per tub in this, right? So yeah, 4 types of ice cream, which is also price increase, total price increase for 20 tubs. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna write that as a separate thing as well. This is total price increase for 20 tubs. Okay, all right. So yeah, so now we know that. Let me. Okay, then last one is percentage increase is equal to in this case price increase divided by original price and then times 100%. So price increase is dollars 3 divided by 15 times 100%. Okay, and this will give us 3 divided by 15 times 100, 20%. There you go. So the answer is 20%. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. So a carton of packet drinks costs $12. For every 15 cartons of packet drinks bought, a discount of 10% was given. Elisha bought a number of cartons of packet drinks for a charity event and she paid $1,296. What was the most number of cartons Elisa bought? Okay, so first we want to know how much it costs for 15 cartons, including the discount. Okay, so one carton is equal to $12. So 15 cartons is equal to 12 times 15. Okay, in this case, this will be $180. So 15 cartons, yeah, 50 cartons with 10% discount is equal to $180 times bracket, I think it's minus 10 percent or 90%. Okay, so times 90%, this will be $162. $162. Okay, so that's for 15 cartons with 10 discount. So so number of 15 cartons. So I will say like this one is one group of 15 cartons with this will become like this. Okay, I just put like this, easier to see. So that means number of 15 cartons, number of group is equal to 1296 divided by 162. Okay, so 1296 divided by 162, this will give us 8. Right, so that means total cartons is equal to 8 times 15, and this will give us 90 lah, right? Times 15, sorry, 120. I thought it's 90. 120. So total number of cartons Elisa bought is 120 for question number 8. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. In a library, the ratio of number of fiction books to the number of non-fiction books was 8:5. Okay, so after more fiction books were added to the library, the ratio of number of fiction books to the number of non-fiction books was 9:4. There were 12,600 fiction books in the end. How many fiction books were added? Okay, so we know that, let me write this down. So fiction is to non-fiction. I like non-fiction. 8:5. So this was the before. Okay, before 8:5. Okay, then after that, more fiction books. So we just say plus, okay, question mark for the fiction books itself. Then after, we get 9:4. 9:4. Like this. All right. And then at the end, we also know that there's 12,600 books. Yes, correct. And this is like 12600 books. Right? Fiction. Fiction, fiction, fiction books are up in the end. Okay, it's 12,600 books. How many fiction books were added? So we want to know this. Okay, so first is we can just get the. All right. So one thing is that non-fiction remains the same, right? In this case over here, right? So that means we can get our non-fiction ratio to be the same. So that means let's have non-fiction ratio to be the same. So that means we get the lowest common multiple of 5 and 4. Sadly is the numbers of each other, which is 20. Right, so that means 5 times 4. Let me just bring this down a bit. So we have times 4 for this, both 8 and 4. So times 4 times 4. Okay, so the before will then become 5 times 4 will be 20, 8 times 4 will be 32. So this 32 and this is 20. Okay, so then for 9 to 4, we just times 5. Okay, for this case. So I want to make this like this. So the before looks like this. And then when you add, so this is the change, right? Change. Okay, change that something change in the fiction. So plus in the fiction. And then for the after, we will have 9 is to 4. But this time we multiply it by 5. So we multiply this by 5 and we multiply this by 5. And this will then become 30. So 9 times 5 is, I always forget, 45, yes. And 45 is 20. Okay, so the change over here, right? So let me just put it here. Okay, so the change is this. So before fiction, let me write it here. Before fiction is equal to 32 units. After fiction is equal to 45 units. So the change, yes, is equal to 45 units. 45 minus 32, this will give us, wait, I want to just double confirm. 45. 8 times 4 is equal to 32. Let me double confirm. Fictions, number of fictions to non-number. Okay, great. So 45 minus 32, this is 13, right? So 13 units. Okay. So we know that fictions book in the end is yes, 12,600. So uh so 45 units is equal to 1 to 600. Then we want to know 13 units, which is equal to 1 to 600 divided by 45 times 13. Okay, so 12600, 12,600 divided by 45 times 13. This will give us 3,640. So that's your answer, 3,640. Okay, there you go. Wait, I cannot copy this, but give me this. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. All right, so question number 10. The distance between town A and town B is 150 kilometers, right? So at 11 a.m., Benny left town A for town B. At 11:30 a.m., Charlie left town B for town A. Benny's was half of Charlie's speed. The two boys meet each other when they were 90 km away from town B. They did not change their speeds throughout their journey. Find Charlie's speed in kilometers per hour. Okay, so I draw a little bit on how it looks like. So town A to town B is 150 kilometers. Where they meet is 90 km away from town B. So it's this distance. And then 11 a.m. is Benny and Charlie is 11:30 for town B as well. Okay, so with that said, okay, so distance travel by Benny over here, which is this one, right? It's basically, right? So distance traveled by Benny when they meet is equal to 150 minus 90, and this will be 60 kilometers. Right, so Benny has already traveled around 60. Right, so this is a bit inaccurate, so I'll just say the meeting point is here instead. Okay, this makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so distance traveled at 11:30. Right, so from here, so we also know that for Charlie, right, that Benny uh, was half of Charlie's speed. So Charlie is actually pretty fast and Benny is half of Charlie's speed. So that means when Charlie travels at 90 kilometers, uh, Benny actually will travel half. So I'm going to write down. So since Charlie speed is 2x of Benny if Charlie traveled 90 kilometers. That means Benny traveled 90 divided by 2, and this will give you 45 kilometers, right? So now we know that when Charlie traveled 90 kilometers, Benny only traveled 45 kilometers. Okay, so we still don't know what's the time, but we know the distance now. So since then, that means from this is from so from 11:30 to meet time, right? Okay, so with that said, before 11:30, Benny traveled. Okay, because we know the time that Charlie traveled. So that means it's 60. So he traveled 60 minus 45, which is 15 kilometers. That's what you see over here. So now we know this is before 11, Benny traveled. Okay, so that means we know that Benny only traveled 30 minutes. So Benny traveled time distance time. Yeah, Benny traveled first 15 kilometers is equal to, in this case, 11:30 minus 11:00, which is 30 minutes. Okay, so that means Benny speed is equal to 15 divided by 15 kilometers. Okay, and then we want per hour, right? Divided by so 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes is equal to 60 divided by 30, which is no, sorry, 30 divided by 60. 30 divided by 60, this will give you 0.5 hours. So we just have this 0.5 hours. Okay, so 15 divided by 0.5, this will give us 30 kilometers, right? So since Charlie's speed is 2 times of Benny, so Charlie speed is equal to this kilometers per hour. This is 30 km, or 30 times 2 lah. 30, right, times 2, this will give you 60 kilometers an hour. Right, there you go. So that's the answer, 60 kilometers an hour. Right, let's move to the next question. Question number 11. So part A, it says here the figure below shows a square base cuboid, so square base, with a volume of 272 centimeter cube. Given the height of the cuboid is 7 centimeters, so I'm going to put here 7 centimeters, right? So find the length of AB, right? So that means square base is equal to volume divided by height. Okay, so what's which means that this is equal to 272 and then divided by 17, and this will give us, let's see, 272 divided by 17, this will give us 16 centimeter square. Okay, so in this case, right, length of AB is equal to, right, root of 16, which is equal to 4 centimeters. So the answer is 4 centimeters. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question, B. Okay, so the figure below shows cuboid Y. Don't see any cuboid Y, but I will draw it out. Draw a cuboid with a volume twice the cuboid Y on the isometric grid below. Alright, so this is basically cuboid Y over here. Okay, so in essence, cuboid Y is just 3 units by 1, right? 1 and then by 1 as well. Okay, right, so now we just need to have cuboid with a volume that's twice. So I will just write down here, cuboid Y is a volume is equal to 3 times 1 times 1. So this will become 3. right? 3 centimeter cube, right? So we want volume twice, which is equal to 3 times 2, which is 6 centimeter cube in this case over here. Okay, oops, pretty straightforward. To get to get 6 centimeter cube, your your length times breadth times height can be, right, 1 times 1 times 3, 6, right? 1 times 2 times 3, or 1, yeah. So basically any numbers lah here, right? It can be 1 times 6 times 1, can be 2 times 3 times 1, right? Can be 3 times 2 times 1, all of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Why is it so long here? Okay, right. Okay, so I'm going to copy this whole thing over here without this. So I'm going to copy, paste it, and then I just double it, all right? Just double it. So I'm going to increase the height. Okay, let's move this and move this. So I'm going to move this by just 1 cube. That's why it's over here. And that's about it. Just move this over here and then extend it. Right, extend it to this and also this. There you go, that's it. So this is 6. Right, so it's 3 by 1 by 2. Okay, nothing much. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 12. Okay, the pie chart shows a group of students who voted for their favorite movie genre. Each student was allowed to vote only once. The same information is shown in the bar graph, but the name of the movie genres are not shown in the bar graph. That's why it's over here. So we have comedy, my favorite, fantasy, science fiction, and animation. Okay, so all of this over here. So how many students voted comedy as their favorite movie genre? Okay, so over here, I'm going to draw the lines because it's a bit hard to see. Right, so give me a sec. All right, it's a little bit easier to see now. Okay, so we can see what's the numbers. So first, we just need to know the gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 gaps. 5, whoops. 5 gaps is equal to 100. 1 gap is equal to 100 divided by 5. And this gives us 20. So I see over here. Okay, so for this little one, this is 80. There's a big one. This is 200, almost 300. So 280, 260. And then we have this little one. This is 120. And then we have the medium one, which is 200 exact. All right. So for comedy over here, comedy is the least. So write down as well. Comedy is the least. And 80 is the smallest number. So that means comedy is equal to 80. All right, there you go. So the answer is 80. Okay, let's move to the next question. Part B. What percentage of total numbers of students voted for animation as their favorite genre? So express your answer in one decimal place over here. Okay, so we can get the total. So total is equal to 260 plus 80 plus 120 plus 200. Okay, and this will equal to 200, 660. Right, so but let's double confirm. Do 60 plus 80 plus 120 plus 200, 660. Right, 660. Okay, so animation over here is the biggest. So animation is the biggest, which also means animation is equal to 260. So percentage uh, of any for animation is equal to 260, right, out of 660 times 100%. Okay, and what would this be equal to? So let's use our calculator. 260 out of 660 times 100. This is 39, 39, 39. So 39.3939 dot. And this is equal to, so one decimal place, which is this 3. So 39.4%. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer for part B, 39.4%. Let's move to the next question. Question 13. The graph shows the number of visitors to the Children's Museum from July to December. In which 1 month period was there the greatest change in the number of visitors to the Children's Museum? Okay, so we can calculate, but first we want to know the gaps again, right? So there are two gaps before the number 50. So one gap is equal to 50 divided by 2, and this is equal to 25 in this case. So for July over here, this is 275 for July. And then for August, it's 375. So it's over here. Okay, so from August, July to August, it is plus 100, like this. Okay, I'm just going to put below here so it's easier to see. So for September is 3 to 5. 3 to 5. That means it's a minus 50. Okay, so for October, it's another 375. So this is a plus 50. Right, and then for November, it is 250. Here, 250. So 375 to 250, it should be minus 125. 5. Okay, and then lastly, December is 350. I'm gonna take this 350. 50. Okay, and this will just be a plus 100. So greatest change means either plus or minus. So greatest change means highest increase or decrease. So for this, what is the highest increase or decrease? In this is the October to November 125. So the answer to this is October to November. OCT to NOV. All right, that's it. Let's move to the next question. Question number part B. From August to September, what was the percentage decrease in the number of visitors to the museum? Express your answer in decimal. So for August, it is 375. Then to September, it is equal to 325. And then what was the percentage decrease? So decrease is equal to 375 minus 325 equal to 50. So percentage decrease is equal to 50 divided by which one? 375, 325. 375, right? The original one. Okay, so for this is 50 divided by 375 times 100%. Okay, so 13.333. 13.333 dot. So this is times 100%. Okay, and one decimal place again. This will then become 13.3%. There you go. So the answer is 13.3%. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 14. Okay. All right. Question 14. A cubic container measuring 30 cm by 30 cm by 30 cm contains 9,000 centimeter cube of water A metal block measuring 18 by 10 by 10 is placed horizontally in the container. The metal block sinks to the bottom of the container as shown in figure A. What is the height of the water level in figure A? So in this case over here, what we can do is we can, they already gave the answer ish, but with that new water volume, so we have not gotten the metal block volume. So let's get the metal block volume. Metal, okay, block. Let me just put my workings on top so it's easier to refer. Metal block volume is equal to 18 times 10 times 10, right? So this will give us 1800 or 1800 centimeter cube. Okay, and then we will then new water volume will be 9,000 plus 1800, which is equal to, right, 10,800. So we also want to get the base area of the cubic container, which is basically this part over here, right? 30 times 30. So it's just 30 times 30. It's a cubic, so it's a cube. So we can just multiply 30 times 30. It will give us 900 centimeters square. So to get a height, the formula is basically volume divided by base area. So in this case over here, the volume is 10,800. And then we divide it by the base area, which is 900. Okay, let's use our calculator. Calculator has calculated 10,800 divided by 900, which is 12. There you go. That's the answer. 12 centimeters. Alrighty. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Part B over here. So the position of the metal block is changed such that it is now placed vertically container as shown below in figure B. What is the height of the new water level? So we know that the base area over here at the bottom is 10 centimeters. So that means our new, what do you call this, base area over here without the block is 20 centimeters, like this. Okay, so why 20 centimeters? Because 30 centimeters is the original one. So we're just going to put here. I'm going to put here 30 so it's easier to understand. Right, 30 centimeters like this. Okay, so to give you an idea or better idea of how it looks like, so this we have this cubic container that is 30 centimeters, and then also this is also 30 centimeters as well, right? So at the same time, the block over here, since it's flipped, right, we know that the block is 18 by 10 by 10. So 18 is the new height, 10 is the new base area in this case. All right, so this is 10 10 centimeter. I'll just put 10. Okay, I'll just put here 10 centimeter, right? This block over here. And then we can get 10 centimeters here as well, right? Like this. Okay, so we want to get this base area now. Okay, this is the base area that we want to get. Base area. So how do you get the base area? Right. So the new base area is basically cubic container base area minus block base area, right? So in this case is this, right? 30 times 30. Okay, actually we have it lah, 900, right? 900 minus, and then bracket the block base area is 10 times 10. Okay, so in this case this is not 90 and 900, so this is 900 minus 100, which equal to 800 centimeter cube. Okay, so now we know the new base area. Formula is always the same, right? Height is equal to the volume, okay, divided by the base area. So that means in this case, the base area is no longer 900, but it's 800 instead. So with that said, we can just divide 10,800. 10,800 divided by 800. This will give us 13.5 centimeters. All right, there you go. So that's the answer to this question. So this is 13.5 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 15. That's a lot of words. Okay, so a group of tourists paid a total of $2,220 for the admission tickets to the Singapore Zoo. In the group, the ratio of number of adults to number of children to the number of senior citizens was 5 is to 2 is to 3. The ratio of amount paid for all the children to the amount paid for all senior citizens was 7 is to 6. The amount paid for all senior citizens was one quarter the amount paid for all adults. Given the price for an adult ticket was $48, find the total number of people in the group. Okay, so let's break this down. We know the total amount. Total amount is equal to $2220. Then we also have number of children. So children to the number of adults. So ratio of adults to ratio of children to the ratio of seniors will be 5 is to 2, 5 is to 2 is to 3, 5 is to 2 is to 3. Okay, not letting you out. So these adults, children, and seniors. So number of people. Okay, which is this one. Okay, so ratio amount paid for all children for all senior citizen. The ratio is so children. So I will say amount paid total. Same thing, right? In this case, this is children to senior citizen. Okay, amount paid, it will be 7 is to 6. Like this, 7 is to 6. Right? So just gonna put this, oops, as a rectangle. And for this, the amount paid for all senior citizens was one quarter to amount paid for all adults. So senior paid is equal to one quarter of adults. Okay, so this is generally okay. And lastly, last one. Haven't yet. Adults is equal to, so one adult ticket is equal to $48. Okay, so then basically find how many number of people are in this case over here. Okay, so for this, right, we want to get first. I think is once we get how much is being totally paid, then divide the total amount, and then we can get number of people as well. Okay, so with that said, senior paid is one quarter of adult. So we know the ratio, right? So I'm guys ratio of children total paid is equal to 7 units. Okay, and then seniors, right? Total paid is 6 units. And then we can get adults, right? So in this case, adults, since senior paid is one quarter, then that means adults is 4 times senior. Okay, so that means for these adults, total paid is equal to 6 times 4, which is 24 units. All right. Okay, so we know that this is the ratio of the amount of money that's being paid over here. The ratio of amount paid for all children to amount paid. Okay, so that means we know the total amount, right, is 2,220. So let's get the total units. Total units is equal to 7 plus 6 plus 24, which is equal to 37. 37 units, right? Let me double confirm. Always double confirm, always double check your work. 7 plus 6 plus 24, 37. So that means 37 units is equal to 2220. 1 unit is equal to, so let's see what is it equal to? $60. Dollar 60. Oh, sorry. Have to put everything. So 220 divided by 37. This will be $60. So we know that 1 unit is $60, and we also know 1 adult ticket. So that means one, so adults total paid, okay, is equal to 24 times 60, and this is equal to times 24, $1440. Okay, so if 1 adult ticket, number of adults is equal to 1440 divided by divided by 48. Divided by 48 is equal to 30 adults, right? 30 adults. Okay, so that means, let me just delete this, right? So now, we know that the number of people is this, right? So I'm just gonna do this over here. Okay, so we know the number of people is adults is 5, children is 2, and then seniors is 3. So that means we can use the number of adults to calculate the total number of people. So that means 5 adults got to 5 parts, and adults also is equal to 30. Okay, okay, so we have adults 5 parts, children is equal to 2 parts, and then seniors is equal to 3 parts. So total is equal to 5 plus 2 plus 3 equal to 10 parts. So adults is 30. You know adults 30, so 5 parts is equal to 30. 10 parts is equal to 30. It's just times 2 lah, but sure. Divided by 5 times 30, which is 60. There we go. So there's 60 people all together. Whew, reach loot. Alrighty, let's move on to the next question. Question 16. Alright, so for question 16, it says the figure below is made of the right angle triangle, right angle, and 2 semicircles. I'm going to draw the right angle so it's a bit easier to see. Right angle. Okay, really cannot see it. Okay, hopefully it's easier. So with the diameter of 10 and also 12 centimeter respectively. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna cancel this. Find the total area of the shaded parts. That's what we see over here. Okay, so how do we do this? So first, let's focus on the 12 centimeter semicircle. If you can see over here that there is this 12 centimeters, and then we know that this is the semicircle. If we can get the area of the triangle, we are able to get this. And it's also the same with the 10 centimeter as well. Right, so I've written down here, shaded area is equal to area of 12 centimeter semicircle, right over here, right, minus half of the right angle, like this. That's what you see over here. And then we also have area of 10 centimeter circle. It's the same thing, right? 10 centimeter circle, but minus the triangle as well. Half of the right angle triangle. So the thing is that if you combine the two half right angle triangle, right, you will just minus off the right angle instead. That's it. So I'm going to write this down small. So if minus 2 halves of right angle, it will create one create one whole right angle. Right angle triangle. That's it. There you go. Right angle triangle. Make it small. There you go. If minus, let me put a star. Star. Yeah. Put a star over here. Put a star at the end. Star. 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 Okay. Like this. If minus 2 halves of the right angle, it becomes like this. Okay. So area of 12 centimeters, semicircle. Da, da, da. Okay. And that's it. Then we just need to calculate all of this. So let's do this. Area of 12 centimeter semicircle. Okay. Is equal to, let me just put like this. Okay. Is equal to half times. So pi times radius. Okay, so for the 12 centimeter, here's 12 centimeter radius is equal to 12 divided by 2 equal to 6 centimeters. Okay, so that's it. So that means we just plug in the values. So we have half times 3.14 times 6 times 6. Okay, and what would this give us? Okay, so calculator, half times 3.14 times 6 times 6, 56.52 centimeter square. Okay, so same thing with the other one over here. I'm gonna put a line like this. Okay, so instead of 12, this will be 10 centimeter semicircle radius. So 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5 centimeters. So the area of the 10 centimeter semi radius is 5 times 5. Okay, so let's use the calculator. So it's zero point 0.5 times 3.14 times 5, which is 25. This will give you 39.25. Okay, 39.25. Right. Okay, last one. Then we will get the right angle triangle. Let me get the line, man. Let me get the line. All right. So, okay, this is until here. Um, area of right triangle. There's only one triangle, which is called half times base times height. Okay, and we already know the height and base is 10 times 12. Half times 10 times 12, which is equal to 60, right? So zero point 0.5 times 10 times 12, 60. Bing bang bomb. All right, there we go. So now to calculate this, we'll get this shaded area. Okay, shaded area is equal to area of this, da, da, da. Okay, which is equal to 56.52. Okay, minus 39.25. Right, minus 60. Okay, let's see what does it gives us. 56.52. Yeah. Or we need to add, not subtract. This is plus instead of minus, plus. Okay, so why we plus instead of minus? Because we are just adding the two different parts instead. So it's the plus instead, right? So it's plus. So it's plus as well. Okay, so 56.52 plus 39.25 minus 60. And this will give us 35.77 centimeter square. There you go. That's the answer. That was 35.77 centimeter square. All right. Let's move on to the last question. Question 17. In the figure below, ABCD is a parallelogram. So let me just put it parallelogram like this so it's easier for us to see. All right. So AFC and ADFB, AFC and DFB are straight lines. that cuts into half. E is a point on CD such that DF is equal to FE. DF here is equal to FE here. Okay, so find EFC. Okay, so we EFC. So we know this is 20 degrees. Okay, I think it's by, okay, great. Yeah, yes. Okay, so we know that this is so we want to get DFC. Let me draw in red. So EFC, sorry, which is what we want to know over here. All right, so we know this is 20 degrees. We know this is 110 as well. So, and we know this is an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to write down DFE is an isosceles triangle. All right. So in this case over here, if we can get this, right, then we are able to get if we are able to get this, then we are able to get this whole big thing over here. Then we can get the red part. Okay, so the FDE, right? So like this. So angle FDE is equal to 180 minus 110. Okay, and then we divide it by 2. Okay, this is actually 70 divided by 2 is 35. Okay, so let's calculate 1800 equal to divide by 2, 35. Great. Okay, so now we know that this is 35 degrees. Then we also know that this is 20 degrees. We can find DFC. So I'll go put in green, right? DFC, which is this whole thing, right? This whole thing, right? DFC. So let me put here angle DFC. DFC is equal to 180 minus 35 minus 20. And what would this give us? So 180 minus 35 minus 20. This will give us 125 degrees. Okay, so now we know that the angle EFC is equal to 125 minus 110. This will give us 15 degrees. Right, so there you go. That's the answer. 15 degrees. Right, let's move on to part B. Okay, so part B, find CBD over here. So this is the angle that we want. In this case over here. Right. So in this, what we can do is we can make use of the parallelogram properties. So opposite angles are the same. So parallelogram, right, which is opposite angles are the same. Okay, so if we are able to get this angle, so I'm gonna make this green. If we can get this angle and this angle, we can get CBD, right? So for this, let's get angle ADC, which is basically 180 minus 50 minus 20, which is 110 as well, right? So lucky guess, I guess. But for this whole thing, let me put this here, and then let's put this whole thing as 110 degrees, right? Like this, 10 degrees. So that means this whole thing is also 110 degrees, correct? Okay, so with that, I'm just gonna put this right at the bottom. So we make use of this. Okay, so parallelograms opposite angles are the same. So that means angle ADC is equal to angle ABC. Okay, so the D become the B, and this will become 110 degrees. That's what I see over here. Okay, all right, so 110 degrees. Okay, then the next thing is we can also get the angle ECB. So I'm gonna put a purple one, so we can get ECB over here, right? So angle ECB is equal to 110 minus 180. What is 180 minus 110 equal to 70 degrees. There you go. So this over here is 70 degrees. Right, 8 degrees. Oop. Wait, what am I typing? 70 degrees over here. Right, this is 70 degrees. Okay, now we know this 70 degrees. Then that means angle E is FCB. Angle FCB is equal to 70 minus 20, which is 50 degrees. Right, so for this, I'm gonna put here as 50 degrees. Okay, so we got one. Now we want to get this one as well. So it's basically just 125 minus the straight line now, right? So angle, what's it called? Angle CFB. Angle CFB is equal to 180 minus 110. Sorry, 125. Okay, confused, huh? 125. And this will give you 55 degrees. Okay, so for this will be 55 degrees. Okay, there you go. So now we get all of the, let me just put the blue on. Let's make this blue so easier to differentiate. Okay, light blue, dark blue. Okay, then we can get angle CBD, right? So angle CBD is equal to 180 minus 50 minus 55. Okay, and then so this will give us 75 degrees. Oops. There you go. So that's the answer. Okay. All right. So I mean, there's a bit more shortcut way to do this, but let's stick with this. All right. That's about it for this paper. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to go through next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.